think the coolest thing that I appreciate about community colleges and why I've been so supportive is, it was echoed again during our visit here today, it's how adaptive and forward-thinking they are. So I have visited specifically Kirkwood Community College, Marshalltown Community College, and here as part of my county tours. Those are the 3 I've done so far. Continuing to look at other partnerships with other community colleges as well throughout the state, because ultimately sitting on appropriations, I think it's a really good opportunity for me to be a voice about how this funding really does trickle down and make a difference. It can adapt quickly, help our workforce pipeline very quickly, and I think that's going to be absolutely crucial. As we heard on the tour today, they've had to change coming out of the pandemic. Can't do it the same, and I think she said, it was a kind of a gift in that sense, where it forced the perspective to change. So
sure.
Yep.
Is there any current legislation in the works that might help guide more students into the medical or into the healthcare field?
So we're looking at also, that's why I asked specifically how long a lot of these training programs are, because what I've tried to focus on are short-term training opportunities and educating opportunities, like 8-week programs, because ultimately we need to figure out with our model and what we're doing as policymakers, how do we get people to train while they're still working, which I was encouraged to hear about, what they're doing here to continue to earn and learn at the same time. That's where the innovation in policy is really crucial. So we're trying to look at all of the training programs, how we can support, for instance, Pell Grant opportunities for people who need extra financial assistance. So I've supported legislation, specifically the Jobs Act, which I introduced, for Pell Grant access for 8-week programs. So continuing to look at all those program opportunities, and we're going to try to figure out, hopefully with this Jobs and Economy Task Force, some other things we can roll out in the spring.
Yeah, I mean, because I imagine, that seems like one way around what kind of one of the biggest barriers I imagine is, kind of how do we soften the blow of the kind of sometimes lifelong weight of student loan on students if they go to the traditional path or whatever. So
Right. Well, and we heard too today, one of the students, obviously her entire tuition is being paid for by her future employer, which she has a guaranteed job for 3 years. Like, that's a really great model. So if we can figure out how to incentivize that kind of a model where the workforce needs of an employer, they are obviously keenly aware of what they need. If they can have a good hand in making sure that they're feeding their own pipeline too, I think that can help hopefully eliminate some of those student challenges as far as debt is concerned too.